first and most obvious choice is to put them over the shoulder, either with your hands like this, keeping them straight, or like that, keeping them in tight. If it's a light sled?
A light sled, you don't want to have your arms out.
Want to have your arms out, like this?
Yeah, but you can stay quite upright. You can kind of just power along with this. You're gonna have like, you're not gonna have the same weight to counterbalance yourself if you're more leaned over. Plus, if you can get a lot of this off the ground, you're going to decrease that friction a lot. So if you're quite close, it's going to pull up if it's light enough.
Yeah, so if it's light enough and you're close enough, and doing this is going to make my feet closer to the sled than that. And then if it's light enough and I get going and the front end starts to come off, all of a sudden there's way less contact with the ground, which means you're going to go a lot faster, because the contact with the ground is what's slowing this thing down, more so than the actual weight on the sled.
Yeah. If it gets too heavy, though, you run the risk of, and you're using that form of it getting like kind of caught, and it's going to pull you out of position. So that's when you want to go to the low handles, where it's really up tight and close and kind of just over your shoulders. Here, Brent can kind of pull it in and keep everything really, really tight without a less of a chance of this kind of being able to pull him around as he goes with the heavier loads. It also allows him to start over in a slightly more leaned over position, so I can get a lot more leg drive to kind of start that.
Yeah, and like this, like when we're talking about really most things, it's about tension and keeping the fact that these are attached to my shoulders, yet what's really generating the force is my feet into the ground. That's a long line. And so the weaker that is, the more I start to arch like this or come forward, or there's slack in it, that's not good. So make sure from your first step that you have a lot of intention behind what you're doing, and this part of your body, your upper back, your core, your glutes, everything is nice and tight and strong, so you have this like strong chain to really drive it forward.
Yeah, you mean if you're doing this for a long time, you want every step to count, and if you're taking a step and this thing isn't going anywhere, or it's not going as far as it should, you're wasting a lot of energy. If you're moving forward, this should be moving at the exact same rate. If not, something's going wrong.
Yeah, so I'll pull this a little bit like this, and then we'll go over some other methods of pulling the sled.